someone come up here and draw me a parallel sided square with straight lines? Fatima, you want to do it?
Sure.
I just want to see how you would do it.
A parallel line.
Square. Alright, well, you actually did better than I thought you were going to do, because the common thing for people to draw straight lines is to just go like that, like sketch. And you just did like one motion, but what I'm going to teach you guys how to control your range of motion, because you can sit back down.
Thank you.
Because drawing is more about like using your, more than just your hand and wrist, which I noticed she was just going like that. But what I want you guys to practice, I'm going to show you how to control the range of motion by drawing a straight line. So I'm just going to draw 2 dots. I want you guys to do that. And you want to kind of like just move the pencil over the line just to get a feel for the motion before you sketch the line in. So now granted, it's not going to be perfectly straight. You just want to practice moving your hand so you can get used to, like, you're going to have a few like lines over each other, but I just want you guys to practice that now a couple of times. That's it. Alright, now you might mess up at first, but you'll just get the hang. It's kind of hard doing this standing up. But the next part I want you guys to do, after you practice that, I want you to practice doing a square and then doing an X and a cross through it. And you can make the lines longer than they need to be, because it's better just to get a feel for how you do it. So you kind of make a square like this. And then what I want you guys to do is each corner of the square do a line through to make an X. Kind of like that. And then I want you guys to do a cross through it. This is just so you get the hang. Like, after you've practiced doing the straight lines, you'll be able to practice parallelism. And making the X and the cross is kind of just a guideline to make sure you have everything parallel, because the line should meet at the corner. You shouldn't start at a corner and then like go off. And I'm going to have you do next is a 3D cube. So make a square like that, and then we're going to do it without having to draw the second square. We're going to do it so without like skipping a step almost. So when you make these lines, you want to make sure they're parallel. Like, everything has to be parallel at the corner, because you don't want one line to be running up here and the other one going out like horizontal. So you just make diagonal lines at those 3 corners like that, and then you draw the straight lines up and down, or up and across, I mean, and you got the cube. And the next part I'm going to show you after you're done practicing that is additive and subtractive drawing. Now, subtractive drawing is when you draw lines on the cube or whatever object you're doing to show what's going to be cut off. So you just draw those lines, and then the excess lines you erase, and just so you know like where the face is and can tell, just shade in what part you're cutting off. So I'll give you an example. You always want to make sure when you draw your lines that everything like makes sense. You don't want one like trailing away, so you want everything to be parallel. This is what the whole lesson is about. And see how I have this? This would now be the face of the object that's cut away, and you would erase these lines. So you would just have this wavy triangle kind of thing. So, alright, I want you to practice that a few times. And then, now we're going to do additive drawing. So, I want you to draw the cube again. Alright, everything is all about parallelism with this, because you want to use the lines of this cube as a guideline. So if I want to draw something that's going to be in front of this, you just extend these lines. Like I'll draw almost like a curve. So I'm going to extend these lines more, keeping them parallel to each other. And then what I'm going to do is draw almost like a loop, or like a curve. So, I don't have an eraser. Kind of messed up. But you get the gist of it. So you kind of, if you want to extend something in front of this, you extend these lines out and make sure they're parallel. I messed up, but don't have an eraser. So that should be straight across. And then you can draw like a triangle or something to the side. And you always want to make sure everything is parallel and connected so that it makes sense. Because that's what we're going to practice, doing these shapes and keeping everything parallel. And what I want you guys to do next week is make up your own drawing like this. I want you to practice what you've learned, like doing the straight lines, like progressively move your way up before you can start making your own shapes. And I want you to do additive drawing, subtractive drawing, anything you want. And I want you to do almost like a landscape. So here's your horizon line. I just want you to just draw like quick lines across. And you're going to use these as guidelines. I want you to draw them as like a cityscape using your creative shapes. And they can be anything you want, just as long as you practice the parallelism and like subtractive and additive drawing. And I want you guys to make the scales right. I don't want everything being the same size, because if you're moving back to the horizon, it should be big and then moving its way to small. And I just want you guys for tomorrow to have a basic sketch of like something you want to do, like make up like any shapes you want to start doing, and we'll have a class discussion on which would work, which wouldn't. And then for the next week, we'll just be working on this project.